I would like to introduce a creative exploration of our past hidden creative figures. They're not really hidden, but they may not have also had all the amplification. I'm certainly discovering new people through this research that I'm doing to bring this to this podcast. And you may or may not, but I think she's got a cool story. And I think that just kind of talking about her is going to just kind of honor her, but also enlighten us. Ethel Waters was a woman who was very much so multi talented. She had a lot, she was quite complicated as well. So it was just like she was one of those people who were, it was like basically if duality was a person, right? So we're going to get into her history, but like she had a lot of life struggles, but we also have so many talents that she brought to the forefront. So she entered the entertainment business in the 1920s. She started out as a blues singer, and then she eventually made her way into getting her own television and radio show. Again, we're talking 1920s. Black people were not even allowed to go and be in different spaces, drink out of the same water fountains, be in the same spaces as white people. And here is a Black woman that has not only infiltrated entertainment, but she's done so almost masterfully, to the point where it's like she had like the talent that she possessed as a singer, as an entertainer, and as a dramatic actress, a dancer. She was a woman, she was like really multi hyphenate. And so now that's kind of like a buzzword and a buzz term for creatives now. But truly, to be able to do all these different things and to be able to do them well and be able, and in that time frame, it wasn't just her being a woman, it wasn't just one mode of creativity, uh and her having to stay in one box or anything. It wasn't those type of things. It wasn't just industry. It was, she was working against racism. She was working against um gender equality. She was working against a lot of different things. So that's just like a little quick excerpt, but I would like to like start from a certain point and then kind of build on that. So um Ethel Waters was born on October 31st, 1896. And she was born to a mother who was 13. Um, and so she kind of came into in in this pregnancy was not a voluntary act. She was the product of a non-voluntary sexual exchange. So so I'm sorry if that's trigger warning. She was not the in 1896. So she's like was created in some type of turmoil. And then she was born to a parent. So the father wanted nothing to do with her as a child. Her mother was a child. So she was raised by her grandmother, and kind of like she had to go between different family members and just kind of go in and out of different places, and really dealt with not feeling wanted. I'm just thinking about all the different things that she had to endure um to be able to be on TV. All the different, like, especially like thinking about the roles that she had to take just to make sure that she could be someone to represent Black people, period, and to change this narrative and and use her art as some form of activism and some form of rebellion against what the norm was in that time. So I see these stories as like, oh yeah, she was the first, but she was difficult or she was bitter or literally it's like it's a quote from Ozzie Davis saying that she was a great artist but a mean woman. But um I feel like I'd be mean too. I'm sorry. I feel like I would be mean too. I'd be a little mean. If you had to endure all that crazy, I was doing some research and looking into this woman, and I'm just thinking like, man, being on Broadway, having to invoke the realistic pain of Black women in these different roles. So um there was a song that she had to sing. And basically, this song was from the perspective of a woman whose husband had just been murdered. And I'm just thinking, like, to be able to do these type of songs and to invoke the necessary emotions that have to be felt and have to be given to be able to, one, get all the emotions that they want you to invoke, but also to get it and do it accurately. Like, man, I'm just thinking about like the prep and like right then it wasn't just like, oh, I have to get in a mental space to do this. It was this is literally what it's like outside. And I gotta bring that to this role. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta research. It's I'm living this every day. There was like I just I don't know. I'm just really intrigued by that. I I don't know. But it wasn't all, it wasn't all bad. Like she got a lot of different accolades and a lot of nominations. And I know how, somebody's like, okay, well, we don't want to talk about if I'm nominated. I only want to talk about it if I won. But I think especially it's so notable and necessary to bring it up and bring up that she was nominated because of the time frame that we were in. Um, so she also was Oscar nominated. She wasn't the first one to win it, but she was Oscar nominated in 1949. So for supporting actress role. Um, but I just think that she was really misunderstood, and she started off at a disadvantage. She did. She was a product from something that was pretty rough and cruel. And then, being, passed around from home to home, it really impacted her. And I felt like she had to kind of have a little bit of hardness to her. So, like when people say, oh, she was a great artist, but she was mean, she had to be mean. She had to be mean to navigate these different spaces and to be able to assert herself into different roles and to kind of guard herself and guard her heart as she went into these different places and spaces in her journey. And it said, it also said like, okay, she was mean, but she would take people in and try to provide like children. She took a lot of kids over, she took a lot of kids in and tried to give them stability that she didn't have growing up. And I don't know, she just her story intrigued me because I think that there's so many people who we all have a story. We all have we can all have humble beginnings or complicated beginnings, but I think that what I'm taking from her story, I think that it's beautiful when we can um persist despite whatever challenges we face. And it's not even necessarily how you start. Sometimes it's not even necessarily how you finish. It's about how you navigate your spaces that you're in throughout your journey.